Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's a BCA hearing for Mr. Henry Shipman of 7867 Route 100, parcel ID 929. Now I'm going to ask Mr. Shipman and Ryan to swear to this oath. Under the pains and penalties of perjury, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I want to point out that we're going to stick strictly to the sequence of the rules of procedure. Mr. Shipman, have you received a copy of the rules of procedure?
I have them. I think I know them. I haven't gotten the recent copy.
But you did have a copy of, oh,
This
okay,
is not my first time in front of it.
I'm aware. Okay, so as far as the BCA members, does anybody have anything to disclose regarding conflict of interest and or ex parte communication? Anybody?
No.
Okay. So, Ryan, if I could ask you to introduce the property on appeal by describing the property and its present valuation.
Sure. So again, the property 7867 Route 100 consists of a newly finished ranch modular style home, 62 acres. The property does own, there's a small piece of lake frontage across Route 100. The house is on the opposite side. That was one of the changes actually that we had made at the grievance stage, is we moved it from a lakefront designation to a lake access designation. And that was yielding a $33,000 reduction. So this, during the grievance period, assessed value was $393,690. Result the grievance was $360,250. Working backwards, so these values, your last reappraisal was so long ago, it doesn't make much sense, or it doesn't really, I don't think, resonate to talk about sales from 10, 12, 15 years ago. Your current CLA is 48.8%, meaning that 51.2% is being added on average to every value in town for the state is equalizing your grant list by. When I equalize the $360,250,000 current assessment for Mr. Shipman, that comes to $544,700. So I'm looking at it in today's market, 62 acres, a new house with lake access is worth less than $550,000. And that's something that could be readily justified through sales. It's common knowledge at this point, in the real estate market. So again, trying to maintain equity as best we can with the current environment that everyone's values are in. That's always our goal, and that's the reasoning behind the result of the $360,250 assessment that's on it as of now.
Thank you. Mr. Shipman, would you like to present your valuation and supporting evidence?
Yes, I would, but first, can we have an introduction of who is the Board of Civil Authority this evening?
Angela Kissel.
I got Angela.
Karen Evans.
Bruce Pauly.
Chase Morsey, Morsey.
Justice Finger. Justice, Justus.
Rick Kaminsky.
Okay. Like I told some of you, I made a presentation, 3 copies, because I thought there was only going to be 3 on the board. But you can make extra copies of them later. What I'd like to do now, if you'll let me, is read my presentation to make sure that what I have to say gets in the record.
That's exactly what we'd like.
Okay.
How many minutes? What's the timeline of minutes?
Please proceed.
Okay. First of all, we had the grievance meeting as a result of that, there were three things that came from that. There are preliminary meeting minutes. I don't know if they've ever been issued as final. There's a result of grievance day appeal in which Ryan mentioned where the fair market value was changed from $393,690 to $362,250. And in the remarks, it just says grievance adjustment. And then the last thing, as a result of the grievance meeting, is the results of the grievance for current use allocation dated January 12th. This document has two tables of numbers. One labeled use value allocations as a 4/1/2025 with the word original. The other table labeled use value allocations as a 4/1/2025 result of grievance. There are no entries on the back of this form that could support how the numbers, either new or old, have been determined, or even that the calculational methodology was consistent with Vermont statutes. The VOL video recording of my grievance meeting was made available to me on 6/30/25 and should be reviewed if you haven't seen it. If it's available for public record, I would request that the BCA review it. Let me begin my presentation by stating that both of us, I as the appellant and you as the decision authority involved in these proceedings today, are severely handicapped by the Plymouth listers/assessors' lack of precision, both in a written basis for assessment values and the calculational accuracy required to verify and duplicate mathematical results. Additionally, the listers' lack of any response to my March 6th memo detailing my questions and concerns over the various versions of my property cards only compounds the lack of a rational progress towards resolution of this broken condition of my property's assessment. And that's a quote.
Could I interrupt for just a second?
Yes.
What would be ideal would be for you to present any evidence that you may have without necessarily going into great detail of what others may have already presented.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You got it right in line. In my presentation today, I will focus on the basis of my detailed assessment and leave my frustrating evidence of a broken Plymouth assessment process documented as attachments to this presentation. As you are aware, there are two elements of my property that are evaluated and assessed as to their fair market value. These two elements are the fair market characteristics of my building and the fair market characteristics of my land. Because parcel 929 is and has been enrolled in the Vermont Current Use Program, defined by 32 VSA 3750 since 1998, there are additional somewhat complex steps to finally arrive at the fair market total taxable value. The building element, the new cabin still under construction, is fairly simple to evaluate, it would seem. The characteristics of the new cabin are obvious, but not represented accurately on the various property cards developed since 2025. The new cabin and the designated 2 acres surrounding it are exempt from the current use program by definition. Therefore, assessing that land and the cabin characteristics is not complicated by other current use considerations. My total legal acres of land, as defined by various property cards, is 62.2 acres. This land is further subdivided in the current use enrolled, that's 60.2 acres, and the current use not enrolled, designated 2 acres around the cabin by definition of the current use program. Then the current use enrolled land is further subdivided into current use forest and current use agriculture. Forest land is 58.6, agricultural land is 1.6 acres. The following is my view of the factual characteristics and the math that calculates the taxable value of parcel 929. The building, this new 95 to 98% complete non-resident vacation cabin is assessed by the town at $163,320, and you can see that on attachment 3. and represents a significant increase from the assessment of the old farmhouse, which was $20,710 in 2023 and $12,710 in 2024. This 2025 value is acceptable to me, although the basis or characteristics of the building that influence fair market value for this figure are not all apparent and not always correct in the various property cards. The land, the current use not enrolled land. This land is referred to as residential house site on the 1/16/2025 property card, attachment 5. Also on the 2/3/25 attachment 6 property card, and the 3/18/2025 attachment 7 property card. It's referred to as water site on the 6/4/2025 attachment 8. And most recently, residential lot with access, with water access in the 2 lines of attachment 1, the 6/12 preliminary meetings of my grievance. This land, I'll call it house site acreage, is 2 acres and by its current use rules must be excluded from current use enrollment if a dwelling is on the property. In 1998, this house site acreage was defined as by the current use map as 0.4 acres on the west side of Route 100, where the old farmhouse was, and 1.6 acres on the east side of Route 100. And you can see that map on attachment 10. At some time in 2014, 2015, my application was approved to redefine the house site to be entirely on the west side of Route 100, see attachment 11. Characteristics of the west side, 1.6 acres now added to the previous 0.4 acres on the west side, have not changed. And before it became known as part of the house site to the Plymouth listers, it was assessed at about $1,200 an acre. The listers have now assessed this 1.6 acres plus the 0.4 acres at $30,065 per acre on the 2/3 property card, attachment 6, $151,090 on the use allocation form prior, dated 5/28/25, attachment 9, $153,700 on the use allocation form, attachment 9, as of 1/4/25, $172,500 on attachment 8 of the 6/4/25, and finally, $120,260 on the use allocation form, attachment 3, dated 6/12/2025. There is no known explanation of the basis for these many different values for these 2 acres, or why the 1.6 acres is assessed at some arbitrary value not supported by the characteristics of the land. I propose to apply the 6/12 lister's value of $120,260 to just 0.4 acres, the actual house site, and the lister's value of $1,273.59 per acre for the west side acres to the remaining 1.6 acres required to be excluded by the house site, only by the current use rules. The current use rules say 2 acres for the house site if you have a house on the property. The listers use 2 acres for every house site, whether they're in current use or not. I don't think that's proper, and I don't think it's in compliance with the law, but it's not my issue. So therefore, the value of the current use not enrolled land is 0.4 times 120,260, or 48,104, and 1.6 acres times 1273 and 79 cents. The total is 50,141.74. Applying the same influence factors as the 6/4/25 property card, attachment 8, you got a reduction. I'm sorry. There are influence factors E, T, and X, and I'm not sure what they stand for, but I have been told, but I just don't remember. Therefore, the 2025 assessed value of the current use land not enrolled should be $20,307.39, not $120,260. the current use land enrolled. You have the forest land, the state gives you the value for that land. And that, we'll get to that. The current use forest land value according to the assessors and the listers is 58.6 times the 1273.59 per acre, or 74,632.37, and applying the same influencing factors as the 6425 property card, that reduces to 70,975 cents. The current use agricultural land, the lister's value on the 3/18/25 property card is 1.6 acres times 155,625, and it equals 249. This is the same value assigned to the waterfront site vacant on the 3/18/25 property card, attachment 7. Then apply the same influence factors, the X or minus 50% for requiring access across Route 100. This value is reduced to 124,500. Therefore, the total town assessed value of the current use enrolled land is 70,900.75 plus 124,500 for a total of 195,475 cents. Current use value of enrolled land as defined by the Vermont state is $203 an acre for forest land and $510 an acre for agriculture. So if you multiply the 58.6 times the 203 and times the CLA, the current level of appraisal of 0.48, you end up with a total of 6101 for both state assessments of ag and forest land. Total 6101.66. The total current use value of enrolled land, valued at 61.6, then by definition is rounded to the nearest $100. So you round that down to 6,100. Listers calculate $7,400 prior and $6,200 as of 4/1/25 on attachment 9. The 528 use allocation form version on attachment 3 and the 612 use allocation version. It shows 6,200 for both original and result of grievance, and I believe that number is rounded the wrong way. Real value of the parcel. The real value of the parcel is by definition the total value of land and improvements before exemptions. And there is a state tax form, CB 1215. I've got a copy of it if you're not familiar with it. You can make a copy of it, or I could show it to you. Therefore, my real value equals the house site value of $20,307.39, the current use ag and forest land of $195,400, and the building at $163,320, for a total of $379,028 and 14 cents. This is an increase from the Board of Listers assessor's value of $362.50 as shown on attachment 3. Current use exemption reduction. By definition, the current use exemption reduction is the current use enrolled land value determined by the lister's assessor minus the current use determined by the Vermont state. Therefore, the current use exemption is $195,475 cents minus the $6,100 or $189,300. Therefore, the total tax value, by definition, the total tax value is the real value minus the current use exemption reduction, and therefore that's $379,028 and 14 cents minus $189,300 for a total of $189,728.14. This is a decrease from the BOL assessor's value of $289,780 as shown on attachment 3. The attachments, the first 3 attachments we went over, they're the results of the grievance hearing. Attachment 4 is my March 6th letter. Attachment 5 is the 116 property card. Attachment 6 is the 2/3/25 property card. Attachment 7 is the 3/18/25 property card. Attachment 8 is the 6/4/25 property card. Attachment 9 is the current use allocation value form of May 28th, 2025. Attachment 10 is the shipment track in 1998 for the current use map. And attachment 11 is the current use map as it was revised in 2014, 2015. That ends my presentation. I'd be happy to answer, if I can, any of your questions.
Well, we're gonna move along according to the procedures. So, Brian, do you have a response
Yes.
to any of that?
So just one thing to kind of clear the air here as far as how current use works. Current use has no bearing at this level in the assessor's office. It comes downstream. It's a subsidy. We value all land the same, regardless of it's being enrolled or unenrolled in current use, whether it's agricultural, forestry, productive, none of that matters to the fair market assessment. That then becomes a subsidy after the fact because they then in fact put a lien on the property saying that they won't develop the area that's enrolled. And that's after we set fair market value. So there's no current use deduction at this level. That comes afterwards on the tax bill. All site acres per state statute are 2 acres. Statewide, that is a state statute. Those 2 acres in this system and other systems that are built include all the site utilities, the quantifying the term location, right? So your neighborhoods, as well as feature values. Feature values could be view values, they could be water access. So that's a water access, that's an enhancement of that land because of the features that it has. That would be sold heavily. It would add a great deal of value to the property if it were to be sold. A property identical having lake access versus one not. Typically, feature values range between 10 to 15% max of the overall value of the property. That's a standard. So, just to be aware of some of the things, Marshall and Swift. So Marshall and Swift, that is the standard for cost tables and cost approach to value throughout the planet. The appellant's home would never be designated as a cabin. A cabin signifies seasonal use, limited facility, limited faculty. That's by definition via Marshall and Swift. So hence why it's a ranch. It's a year-round ranch home. You could live there 40 below zero, right? So just to clear up a little bit of the presentation, the CLA, the COD, they speak volumes to Mr. Shipman's argument. Is that the database is not functioning adequately. It's very dated, and it's at the time where it needs to be redone, which is happening. That is right going to be starting here in the next 12 to 16 months, starting that process. So it's interesting where, and I say this all the time because it's kind of a joke in statute between assessors and folks in the field, is that there's no statutory language that speaks to the form in which we present fair market assessments. So the joke is I could use a Sharpie and a cocktail napkin, write down a number, and that is a dig at the lack of legislation that dictates what we do. So we try to do as best we can within the tools and the systems and the time periods that we have. And so it's interesting to me that even the appellant's going even against his own interests. He's I believe arguing for a higher assessed value, and his argument here is process. In that process, the statewide statistics prove that process is broken, and there are steps being taken by the town to fix them. So just to kind of get us all kind of up to where I think we're at as a community here, and why I think there are a lot of interactions like this occurring throughout the town.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Now, As far as the board members, does anybody have any questions or comments at this point regarding two presentations? Any questions at all, anybody?
I
Yes.
don't.
It's for Mr. Shipman. What do you feel the dollar value of your assessed property value is? I don't have any of the paperwork in front of me, so what is the bottom dollar line
The bottom dollar
that you feel
line,
your property should be assessed at?
the total taxable value,
Well,
I'm
whatever what do you feel it should be assessed at?
assessed by the assessors,
Assessed by any assessor,
Yeah.
what do you
You have an
feel?
assessment from the
$379,
tax.
0228 and 14 cents.
So more than what you currently have.
37,000?
$379,028.14. And that value is higher.
When it's, may I?
Oh, yes.
yet.
Oh, no, wait, yeah, sorry.
Sit still.
I would like to respond to his statements if I could before he has.
So that's what he feels it's worth.
Now, Mr. Shipman, if you'd like
Yes,
to respond to the information from the assessor.
I don't understand a lot of what the assessor says because he's got a whole lot more experience in doing this. All I can say is the major contribution to why he and I disagree is that he has assessed all my acreage that's enrolled at the same value. The characteristics of the land has not come into play. And for sure, the characteristics of my land on the west side of Route 100 is significantly different than the 1.6 acres. The state recognizes the difference in value of forest land and provides it a different value than agricultural land by almost double. I'm saying the characteristics of the 1.6 acres are not being considered by the assessor, and that's the major contribution of the significant difference in taxable dollars, taxable value, taxable assessment,
As far
taxable
as,
value.
as far as the house is concerned, are you,
The house is well, the house value, I don't understand how they got to it.
yeah,
Because you can't, if you look at my March 6th letter, the characteristics of the house are not represented by the property card in every case. Some cases, yes, some cases, no.
well, doesn't it say on the property card, doesn't it describe the house and,
Yes, it does, but it doesn't do it correctly.
okay? Has.
No
has-
one's responded to that. And
Has the assessor been inside the house?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
well, the assessor's new on the block. So
No, I understand. I know.
he's playing catch up, but certainly the listers have.
They have been inside the new house.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the assessor assistant
Right.
has been in the house. The former lister, Mike Coleman, was in the house. Jay, I don't know if you want to admit to it, but you were in the house.
Okay. Well, no, it's just a quick question.
I was on a social visit, yes. No?
Are there any
And you're
other
welcome back
questions
to-
from the board up here?
No.
Well, I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
I'm just wanting to come, you're very adamant that Ryan has much more knowledge and experience than you do. But in the same breath, you're so adamant that he's so incorrect and things aren't correct. So how do you talk both sides? He's experienced, knowledgeable, he knows what he's doing more than you, but yet you feel you're so much more right than he is.
Well, he takes the CLA. The CLA is a computational number the state provides. I don't know how the state finds that number. I'm from the old school. You compare my property next to another property in Plymouth and tell me you've got a comparable, then I'll listen to you. If you tell me statistically you've got a book that says it's not valued at this, or you've got the CLA that says it's not valued at this, I'm lost to defend that. I will give you the value I think the property should have. You show me why it's not comparable. And the Plymouth webpage is very convenient for me to go look at different property values. But again, the property cards are all over the place and there's a lot of blanks. And so you don't know.
At this time, I'm going to appoint a committee of inspectors from the board to come and visit the property. I think that that's necessary at this point. And then we'll set another meeting when we get back together after having a firsthand look at everything.
Okay.
All right?
Can I just say one other thing?
Yes.
The forms that were used as a result of the grievance meeting, this form that is called the use allocation form, the back of it has areas to fill in. They've never been filled in by the town. And I think they're legitimately, factually wrong from what the state requires. So if your computer program mirrors that form,
What form are you talking about?
the back,
The current use allocation form?
yes.
So if I could, like you just get, like the value is the value, you just get taxed at a different rate. Like that's the thing about current use, like the value is whatever the same value is, it just says, hey, we're gonna take this acres, we're gonna tax it at this rate, it's a much lower rate than your home.
No, the tax rate is the same. I get a reduction. I get a reduction for trying to keep my property from having the big homes up on the hill, to keep it. It's a state program for me to keep the land as it is. And I'm trying to do that without going broke.
I don't know how you're going to develop that, Cliff.
Look at the homes down there along Route 100.
So we're paying the same per acre as you do, right across the road on our conserved land. We have the same rate, it's identical years, I can tell you that.
Are you certain?
Yeah, the state publishes the rate every year.
Are you in the current use program?
We are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're at the current use rate, I'm not questioning.
And that, like, your 62 acres up on the hillside, it's like, it doesn't, almost like, if you said, hey, your 62 acres is a little bit nicer than mine, right? It doesn't matter at the end of the day, and it's assessed for more, it doesn't matter if you're gonna pay the same amount per acre as I am.
I think, Jay, if I can just, you're confusing me, okay? Because the current use program is to benefit the owner.
Yes.
So the town is required to assess that property comparable to other properties not in the current use program, just as whatever the characteristics of that land are, rocky, steep, forest land, difficult to get to. And then what you take that lister's value and you subtract the same number of acres at the rate the state gives you. And this rate is going to be lower, I would presume.
Much lower.
Much lower, or the program isn't worth a toot. That reduction of land assessment gets subtracted from the assessor's total value of your property. Yes, it does.
Can I
Wait a minute. Wait.
share how current use works?
Here's the current use. From,
We have a different understanding of it.
yeah, it is confusing. There's no doubt to me. It took me a lot of time to understand it.
So,
because of the form that the town gives you, which is the allocation form, is wrong.
so,
Well, at this point, I want to get back to the fact that
Okay,
we need to come out and take a look at the property. So everybody is thoroughly aware of what we're actually talking about,
and I will.
both on the east side and on the west side of Route 100 of your new house and what is entailed with that. And then we will reconvene
No.
where we can. Did you want to say something? I wish you wouldn't. I'm trying to concentrate.
May we set
So-
the schedule for
Pardon
when, can we set the schedule now?
That's what we're about to do, yes. What I need is at least 3 members here to volunteer to go over to the property. We'll figure out right now a date and a time. Probably when Mr. Shipman is there, well, actually it would have to be so we could see
I would like it to
inside.
be, yes.
I've been wanting to.
Okay.
No,
You said you're gonna be around the rest of this week through the weekend?
Yes.
So what if we say Wednesday afternoon? I mean, just throwing something out there. Does that work for anyone on the board here? Would you be available?
I'm familiar with the property, both sides of the road.
Would you be available?
I'm not available Wednesday, I'm available Thursday.
Thursday. All right, let's go to Thursday. Rick's available Thursday. Would you be available?
I mean, I don't feel conflicted at all, but we are neighbors.
Okay,
And, I look at the property every single day, all 62 acres across. the-
okay. So do you want to recuse yourself from the inspection then?
Feels a little funky just because I'm a neighbor,
Okay,
you know?
that's cool. How about you?
I'm
Okay.
available.
All right, that's 2.
I'm available tomorrow, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I'm
For the rest of
available
this week, I'll have
anytime,
an eye
so
surgery
myself,
next.
my stylish friend here, and Rick.
And Rick,
Thursday at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that?
That's fine, either one.
Okay. Say 2 o'clock Thursday. And then,
Do we meet here first?
sure.
Will you ride the property, please?
And then in order to not cause anybody problems, I know you have to travel a good distance. Let's set our next meeting then for next Monday night at the same time, 5 o'clock.
What's the date?
14.
Thank you.
When we reopen the hearing, we should be able to come to a decision in private after the meeting, and then we'd be letting you know the results within 15 days of next Monday.
I'm fine with that. I don't recall the follow-up meeting in previous BCAs. And as far as I'm concerned, you make your decision.
No, we're gonna have it, we're gonna follow the procedure.
Very good.
100%.
Okay.
It'll be your chance to speak again, which you might want after, meeting with us.
Are you going to be prepared to, with a value, or is that going to come in writing?
No, you'll get the results of our decision within 15 days of next Monday. I can't guarantee numbers. I can't guarantee anything at this point.
The documentation of this meeting is with those guys.
Yes,
Is that available to the public?
yes.
Is the grievance meeting available to the public?
I can only speak for this meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in bits and pieces because we lost power and we have
Well-
recordings, but we have written notes.
The written
So
notes,
we-
the written
we-
notes, Ryan, are,
So we've consulted with VLCT, and
I don't know who that is.
so it's, they're the Vermont Attorney League, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned about is that the documentation of both the grievance meeting and this meeting is available for the precision of just having the record so that people who aren't involved yet can see what occurred. And that's what's important. And if the grievance meeting is not, the grievance meeting notes are preliminary and they're insufficient.
Which meeting you
The
referring?
grievance
With
with the listers.
Okay. Yeah, I have nothing to do
That
with
has nothing
that.
to do with us.
Well, I'm saying, here's
I know,
what,
I'm just saying that's not,
We're the wrong people to be,
Right. That has-
right, but
Petitioning for
we're
on that.
all together on this. If this goes further, then next Monday or 14 days after I receive, if this goes further, it is not to the town's service not to have a record that people can look at.
well, we have a record of this meeting. I can't
Right.
speak for the other. And if there is or if there isn't a record of it, that's the way it is.
But you should have been able to review that record before
No.
this meeting.
Actually,
No,
no.
No?
not at all.
We're not allowed to.
Okay.
May I speak?
If you like.
So every level of appeal is de novo, meaning anew. So everything is looked at newly with fresh eyes, every level of appeal you go. So even at the state hearing officer or superior court, if you so choose, nothing that's happened prior matters or should or would be considered.
Who?
And that is the law.
I'd like to verify that because
Sure.
history, you don't want history to repeat itself. And if you don't know what the
Well,
history
that's the
is,
whole, that's the whole point about having a fair trial. The only other thing I will say is just with the VCA coming back for a second, so you do, to my knowledge, need to be very clear about discovery. So closing discovery, so there should be no more evidence filed even during the walkthrough. There should be no, and then coming back, it really should only be if the VCA had questions from us if needed to have your written decision. So typically, there wouldn't be a follow-up meeting.
Well-
But that's where you can have discretion if you do have questions after your walkthrough of clarification.
Yes, as far as the rules of procedure are outlined, we'll reopen the hearing, invite the inspection committee to present its report, invite final questions from the BCA, invite final comments from the appellant, invite final comments from the assessor.
Okay.
And then we'll close the hearing for a deliberative session.
so
So you
in
will have
contrast,
a chance to speak again.
to what Ryan just said, the inspection is new evidence. The meeting is
Absolutely.
new evidence.
It's new evidence to their eyes, not evidence received from the appellant or from.
What do you mean? If they say something that's wrong and I correct it, that's evidence. Ryan, I don't know where you're getting your information.
Well, I wouldn't worry about any of that at this point. We'll take that in stride, but we will be over to make an inspection. And I'm sure that you will want to point out certain things, and I understand that. And we will be back here where you will be able to speak, and certainly our assessor will be speaking. And I think that follows the rules of procedure.
So when's it,
So
so when's that next meeting gonna be?
next Monday, 5 o'clock.
14th.
We'll do our inspection this Thursday at 2 o'clock. And the final meeting on this will be next Monday. Won't drag it out. Is everybody clear on that? We're good? If there's no other business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. It's 6:02.
These on?
So. Any changes, additions, removals to the agenda?
No.
I've spoken to you about potentially talking about that letter that we deposited to our state senator.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to talk about that.
That was our 3:00 board meeting, special board meeting, and we said we'd write a letter to the governor.
Okay.
But we can do a letter to the senator too. I'll add that to the agenda as well. It looks like number 8 has been removed, so I will add the letter there. And at number 10, I'm just gonna add in a question around the community center parking lot.
I don't.
Any citizen comments, anything anybody wants to bring up, talk about? Then our first job is to approve the minutes from March 3rd. And I will make a motion to approve those.
It's a town meeting.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And there's the one to sign.
Oh, this is that meeting
No.
This is that one meeting you had, right, for the interviews?
Yes. No, this one.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to sign this one?
Yeah, need signature.
I'm just asking a general question.
That's one for a good meeting.
Our next item is to approve the minutes from June 12th. And I'll make a motion to approve those. That was a special meeting. Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second that, yes.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Mhm. Need a signature? Sign.
Next order of business is to approve the minutes from June 17th. And I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And next, we have our minutes to approve from Thursday, June 26th. It's a special meeting. I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on our agenda is the announcement of our assistant assessor's hire. Rick or Keith, did you want to speak to that at all?
I can say a few things.
Okay.
We had an interview, Keith and I interviewed 3 candidates. We had a list of questions that we asked each candidate, and we had a scorecard. And we chose Deborah Pelkey was our recommendation, because she had a really good interview, answered all the questions intelligently, and has experience as an assessor's assistant. We thought she'd be a real good fit for the town.
What's her name again?
So that was a recommendation. Deborah Pelkey.
She local.
She lives in Dead End Road up here.
Oh,
Yep.
heard
She's a-
that name before.
And that's what we recommended, and the board approved it.
Angela,
If you
do
want to
you-
add anything, you're welcome to, Keith.
Oh, I mean, the interview process revealed rather quickly that she would be a good fit. It wasn't really a difficult decision to make. She has, was it 7 years experience, right? 7 years of hands-on property evaluation in Connecticut and Rhode Island. Seemed very good with being able to handle people, being able to get into properties and, tread lightly. And so, and seemed like her personality would be a good fit for the overall office environment here. So we went with her.
Angela, do you have any onboarding stuff at all that's worth updating us on for Rebecca at this time, or Deborah, I'm sorry? Do we have anything?
Do not, I mean, I corresponded with her, she's
Okay. All right,
completed the paperwork.
all right. There's an update on the short-term rental offices changes. Processing of paperwork will go into the town clerk's office. Next on the agenda is our FY25 budget status. So that is the end of the year document. This is not official yet, it just gives us a sense of where we are because this report will need to go to the auditors and be verified. Rick and Keith, you want to take a minute or two to review that and ask any questions? Sherry wanted to be here, but she had something come up. She couldn't make it tonight.
Has it changed much since the last time we looked at it?
I don't
Last
believe,
draft?
no.
Are you sharing those copies or are they just?
You can get a copy of it. We're not sharing them today, right now, but you can certainly have one. I guess one question that I am going to bring up, we don't need to answer it now, but I think this is a good one for Cherry. Our revenue was just like $90,000 more than we expected. Our expenses were about $335,000 higher than expected. But part of that was a $265,000 grant expense. And I don't see the revenue showing up, and I see the grant showing up as an expense, so that would be my one question.
Are those numbers, you on page 6?
Oh, wait, sorry, it was 2.7 in total revenue, yeah. So just curious about that. Did that grant show up? Oh, now it's MERP. Okay, it did show up in other revenue. Copy that.
On page 6, the total expenditure number is it's like 300 grand more.
Yep, and total revenue was really high.
Budget versus actual, 117% of the, it's almost 20% higher.
So there's a lot more revenue than, so I think there's a little bit to be sorted out here. Because we're way over in revenue. Like $500,000.
Where's the final revenue number at?
Page 2,
Page number.
about halfway up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's even bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like $500,000 surplus. We're gonna have to.
144%. So almost 50%.
Wow.
What about tax refunds to the people?
Well, what we usually do, if this is truly the case, right, we, try to maintain the general fund at a certain level. Like this year we had held taxes level. If that was the case, we'd probably reduce taxes.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great idea.
It's added a lot of complexity lately. The fire department's done a great job getting grant money, right? We've got this MERP grant money. It just, when it's shown up under the general budget lines, it just kind of throws things off from our normal reporting structure.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would need for my own, I'd have to sit with this and figure out, separate out the grant stuff from the actual tax revenue, just to see how that, once those are one-time
Yeah,
events.
right.
So then it's like,
That's a
where are
good
we,
question, Keith.
where do we stand after that? And then you gotta make your decision on taxes at that point.
Yeah.
Does this the FEMA reimbursement that's listed here on this table, does that include the flood 2023 bridge work line item number?
Sorry, Keith, which one was your question? I'm looking at
I'm looking
that.
at this table as of 7/5,
Got it.
and the last line item in there is FEMA reimbursement, 891 grand, and then 1 million 700 and 1 grand. 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 And then Up 3 line, what, 1, 2, 3 lines up, 4 lines up, it says FEMA project, flood 2023 bridge work, 990,000.
So that 990,000 is the stuff I think we discussed and approved those bids for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So those are, once that work is done, we'll apply for reimbursement.
So it's separate from that FEMA reimbursement of 890. That's past reimbursement from the flood
Yeah,
stuff.
correct.
Yeah, you're right.
This year, because we got money last year also from FEMA.
Yeah, that has to get reimbursed.
So this is to submit to the auditor, correct? Is that what we would be tentatively making a vote to submit this as is to the
I
auditor?
think that's just something Cherry does procedurally. Yep, so I don't think we have to do anything. I just wanted everybody to kind of get a sense of where we were.
Right. Gosh, I would prefer to sit down with a cup of coffee and
Yeah.
read this.
Yeah. So we don't actually have to do anything. It's just,
Right.
FYI. And, you know, all this information somewhat subject to change when it goes to the auditor, right? We know that. There'll be questions. And then there's always some adjustments. So you want to take that, you got a copy, you can take it and take some
Yeah.
time with it, and if we can revisit it at the next meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Rick, you good with that?
Yep, I am.
All right. Rick, you mentioned the letter.
So, we all know the angst we all went through bridge discussions. You know, Governor Scott, Lieutenant Governor, Joe Major, even Charlie, you know, they all participated in these discussions, which was much appreciated. However, Allison Clarkson and Becca White were nowhere to be seen. And they didn't even weigh in, which disturbs me. And I heard from a lot of people in Bridgewater that said Chief Clarkson was going around saying to people in Bridgewater they were concerned about it, so don't worry about it, it doesn't affect you. And kind of just shoved us all to the side. So I'm wondering if we can send some letter to both their offices saying we're disappointed in their representation of the citizens of the town of Plymouth for not standing up for us or doing anything. And I know I sent multiple emails to them. Leo Werner did, I think Greg did. Even the gentleman who was here talking about the emergency services during that one meeting, I can't remember the gentleman's name. I think he was from Bridgewater. But I think it's time to wake them up and say, you're not representing your whole constituency. And it's sorely, where were they? Because they had a say in this, and they didn't do anything. So that's just what, you know, and I've heard a lot of comments down at the store. There are a lot of people who are very, very disappointed in both of them, dozens, if not hundreds, about this whole mess. So, just some food for thought. It might be good just to tell them.
Does anybody want to take on writing a letter? I'll give you an update about today.
Writing that letter to Allison?
Yeah.
I just saw her and sat down to part at the parade in Brownsville. Her and Becca over there running around. Yeah, rah, rah. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna do, you know, whatever.
It's
You could send a
just-
letter, but.
I think it's just put it in writing and take a stance.
So I'll give you an update for today. We had a special select board meeting at 3:00. We had Lyle Jepson from the Rutland Economic Development Corporation, and we had Erica Hoffman-Keys from the executive director from the Green Mountain Economic Development Corporation that represents us. Joe Major was traveling in Virginia, wanted to join by Zoom, couldn't, but has been very supportive. Greg Markowski was also here, and we agreed to write a letter to the governor. And they would help us try to arrange a meeting with the governor. And that will be a public letter that anybody can read, but.
Yeah, I got a nice email from Joe Major. You know, he thanked me for getting involved. He says, yes, you brought something critical to our attention. And the governor kind of answered me on something, and I'm a full supporter of Governor Scott. Full disclosure, he's done a great job.
So anyway, we have some next steps.
Yeah.
You know, we'll try to get this meeting and see if we can
Yeah.
get somewhere. I think one of the points that we raised, there are some safety concerns. You know, a lot of increased traffic, especially with the trucking that's going to be happening from Markowski's, going all the way down Route 100. That traffic will be going slow, right? It's going to be a slow detour. It's like an extra 25 minutes. You know, you probably bring your son to school in Killington still, Keith, or yeah, as an example. And then we did, you know, in this letter we raised the fact that you know, Plymouth is perceived by the state as a gold town, and we don't get treated like one.
I couldn't agree more with Jay. So,
That is our, and you both should, you'll need to approve the letter.
and I do want to make sure we thank Tyler and Larry and everybody who opened up Hill Hollow Road ahead of time. You guys did a great job. I mean, this was key to get, especially us now. You know, we know we have a worker, but you know the fear, and I've already seen an increase in traffic on Lions Hill because people kind of plugging into their GPS and coming up. It's okay. I'm just hoping that people don't try to bring trucks up there and stuff because they're going to get stuck. And then what do? Because there's no cell service. And then they're going to ruin the road because those roads are not meant to handle those.
They come knocking on your door.
They will, I know, which is fine. They can find the house. But, so it's, you know, the town did a great job, and I thank them because that alleviates a lot of us, a lot of pain. And, you know, now we can get around.
I think the other thing we want to raise too is Rick raised the question, would a petition help? Right, to accompany this letter with town residents, a petition to the state?
Yeah. We talked about that and have it go with the letter. One of the persons from the Development Corp was going to contact businesses and try and rally their support with a letter to go with it or petition. And if we proceed with petition, maybe we'll put a copy in the store, Rick. If people want to sign it.
Just on side, you know, what we saw since the road started to close is a huge uptick at the store in the selling of Plymouth cheese because nobody can get to the cheese factory now, which is bad for Leo. I'm happy because I've been buying a ton of it. I'm glad to support them, but that's the effect it's having on the businesses right now.
I guess one question for you that we could put in this letter too is like if we have a 44-day shutdown, probably longer, do you want to disclose how much business that would likely impact?
I can do that.
Okay, that would be helpful for the
I'll
letter.
keep track of daily sales and I don't compare it to last year.
It'd be good to give them something tangible, right? To say, hey, this is real.
Correct.
Okay.
Did they ever get back to us? I know, what's his name, Rob Young. Remember when we asked them at the March meeting, was it, to come back with a safety management plan, and they said they had not done one? Did they ever do it?
I think they leave that to the towns.
That's terrible. That's just, it's part of their job.
And Dave and Angela picked up the slack there, I think, in the chief.
We did have a meeting, they came and we talked about coverage and stuff, so I don't know if that's the one maybe you're referring to.
But typically when you do, anytime I've been involved in construction projects, the first thing the construction folks come to the table with is a safety management plan. And they're supposed to do that. I think it's a requirement, but they didn't. He blatantly said no. I mean, seriously? What if somebody has a heart attack outside of Rick's house? How are they gonna get to them in time?
Dave worked on all
Yeah,
Good,
we do have a plan in place for ambulance support
good, thank you.
to deal with the closure, but
It's a shame. You
it
guys shouldn't have to do
was
that.
us that dealt with it,
I
not
know
the
you
state.
should not have,
the
that's,
insurance.
I think you guys are great, and I appreciate that, but the thing is, the onus should have been back on them, that's what we're paying them to do this for, these millions of dollars. But, yeah, I can do that, Chick.
Thank you. That brings us to the delinquent tax report update from Beth. Keith, do you mind reading that?
Sure.
And you could give us maybe an update on the properties too, is what I was thinking.
Update on the property, one of them went under contract, I haven't heard anything back from Kevin, and but they had, I think, 30-day contingency in there to do some site evaluation. That's still active, the contingency, so I guess if they find what they want to find out, they'll, proceed. If not, then it would go back on the market. I think it was 12,000 was the offer. So he asked 15. It's not a bad offer. Delinquent tax report update 6/30/25. Plymouth has 20 delinquent taxpayers in addition to the town owning 3 properties for a total of 23 properties totaling $106,512.59. 5 of the 20 are delinquent as far back as 2023 and 2024, totaling $52,135.96. 3 of the 5 are in payment agreements totaling $49,472.60. 2 remaining could go to tax sale. The 3 town properties total $5,183.94. 1 of the town-owned properties will hopefully be closing at the end of the month. That's the one I just mentioned. The remaining balance total $49,192.69. I continue to reach out with phone calls, letters, and emails if I have them. Thank you, Beth. We had talked, emails going back and forth about finding a new attorney, right? Which we're done with. What's his name?
Yep.
I have the name of one. I'll forward it to you tomorrow.
I know.
Guy in Rutland.
Sherry reached out to a woman named Wanda. She was here doing work on the FEMA properties, the buyouts, and very good, very responsive, and they do tax sales. So that's who might be her recommendation, but please send what you have.
Let's see. Item 10, community center parking lot. Sounds like it's getting a little bit rough. I don't know if you've seen that, Rick.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I don't know if we could, I haven't looked at it in a while. I put that on there because we had something crossed off, but,
Okay,
okay.
I'll review it with Larry.
As far as public parking around here, what's the regulation?
I don't think we have a policy, like you can generally park in the highway right of way.
So, because a lot of people come to the store, and I've only got 10 spaces, so I can't let anybody park there for a long term. They want to park for 3-4 hours, and go, which is fine. A lot of the times we point them to come down here and ask. But if they ask to do that, it should be on the side of the road in front of town.
So on a town road, the town has a right of way 25 feet either side, right? And that's a state road out front, so you wouldn't expect them to park there. And a lot of towns don't like parking on their municipal roads, so they pass ordinances so that you can't. But we've never had a problem with it, like it's not been, so I think if somebody parks out on the side, as long as they're like not in front of a hydrant, blocking traffic, if it became too much, I could see us probably passing an ordinance, right, but at the moment.
I'll just tell them, contact town hall and see where you should park. And I think several of them have. But
Yeah, because they park in the wrong spot. I mean, I could imagine that big yellow loader marching down the
and like
street with the car.
Repark them.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
I like the boot.
I'm booting cars out here.
All right, that brings us to board to review and possibly approve usage of some SDR funds for Fire Prevention Week. And would this be pre-order stuff like this? Or would this be like we find out who's interested and we order it for them? Because I wouldn't want to see a bunch of that stuff like sitting on the shelf, expiring.
We give it back to the community, to the people, to the owners of the STRs? Is that who would receive it? Or anybody?
It would be, we talk about doing one item per household, so we'd have the voter checklist. And if somebody said they wanted one of those kitchen stovetop fire blankets, and okay, we check off on the checklist, so households aren't getting more than one item.
So it could be any household in town,
Yes,
like first come, first served type of deal?
yes.
Registered voters, is that what you
Well,
said?
I did say voter checklist.
Yeah.
It could be the grand list, something we can print to check off.
So then an out-of-state owner for short-term rental wouldn't be eligible, is that right?
And I did say voter checklist, but we could look at the grand list, that way we can,
Okay,
so
Yeah.
everybody would be able to get one, not specific to just.
I got you.
How do we do that? How would you do the information campaign? How would people find out?
We would start, we're going July, it's October, the first week in October, so we would get it out there, the information out there. Maybe,
The tax mailing or something?
yeah, we can do the tax now, because we're working on that right now, the insert.
Did you read Frank's letter? Second one?
Yeah. I'd be more apt to do this than I would his idea.
I would too, Keith.
I'm not down for that.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, that would be a legal thing, that would be challenging for Frank's, right? I mean, that would be something that the voters would have to approve if you did something like that, I think. Wouldn't even, I don't think we could, we couldn't spend town money on something like that without,
No, that's we're subsidizing certain citizens.
yeah, with town funds, yeah. I mean, it's a great idea, but I think it's a nonprofit or somebody that has to do with that.
Yeah, it's not our role. It's not the town's role. Say 48, so yeah, there's like what, this 20, was there 20 grand left over or something like that? I mean, rough number.
That was rough based on just looking at
Wow.
the annual report.
It just rolls into the general fund if we don't use it.
The surplus, in
Yeah.
other words. Yes, it's never been officially earmarked for anything, right?
Right. Right, just expenses for running a program, but,
What exactly are you talking about?
yeah.
It says here fire
Can I say, we should,
prevention week. We don't
does everybody know what we're talking about?
No.
The revenue that's generated from the STR fees,
Or some
Yeah,
excess.
there's expenses versus the the surplus revenue generated. And this is a request from the fire department to use some of that surplus to provide residents or townspeople with fire safety stuff during fire prevention week.
Sounds like a noble cause.
Considering that the program is supposed to be about safety, it might be a good idea.
Well, they're intertwined with each other. They're both connected, short-term rental and fire prevention stuff.
Right. If you're wanting to drive home the point that it's about safety, then yeah.
Absolutely.
Spending a little bit of the money on giving people safety stuff would probably be.
Probably just smoke alarm batteries would go a long way. See the
Yeah.
fire department going out.
I think the smoke detector thing would probably be the, that's the big one.
That and
Even
carbon
if you gave
monoxide.
people smoke detectors, at least you know they got them at work.
We get a lot of those folks coming to the store buying the sizes, what are the batteries, so detectors use.
9 volts?
9 volts, 10, 20 a week, because they're replacing all. That'd be a good thing to get.
Good business idea. How much you get for them?
I'll tell you later.
So we have to approve this right now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, why not?
Is that number that you got there, is that written in stone or could it be any number?
I mean, this was based on the pricing amount.
What's the number?
$3,100.
3,100?
Why don't you give it to the fire department, let them figure out what to do with it.
All the money?
We already approved a $20,000 increase this year for the fire department. We went from 35, was it, or 30?
Went from 30 to 50.
50,
Are
yeah.
we doing the discussion about SDR too? Is that on here? I saw it on the agenda, so I won't bring up what I was gonna bring up until we get to that
It
point.
was number 6, yes.
It's number 6? Are we only on number 6?
Oh,
No,
right,
no, no.
yeah, no, that was just a note. Yeah, we went to number 6, but now we're on number,
Update on short-term
11.
rental office changes. Oh, yeah, we read the resolution.
well,
You're up
that,
to
the
11.
workload is shifting from,
Raise that.
Well,
We agree to raise
am I allowed to
that
backtrack?
rate for the system that the SDR wanted. I don't know if you heard me.
Nastasha would do along with assistant assessor and then transfer that work to the office.
Beth and Angela.
Beth and Angela are gonna share that.
Right.
It's a lot less work now.
I had a separate point.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking about the money that, that software that we bought. We spent, it was gonna be a year trial period for us. And then it didn't do anything, and then that year we were gonna get rid of it. Some of these funds are going to need to be directed by default just to maintaining that software. No,
That's included in this.
that's included in that expense number?
There's a lot less labor hours now because of the software.
I think that's where the savings is.
We were supposed to, we wanted to see hard numbers, right, on how many people they are able to dig up and, if it was worth its weight, in other words.
I
How
think-
many they found out of that, there was 100, I'm just saying 100, it was like 100 change properties they needed to go out and discover, estimated. I don't know how many, I have to ask Frank, he's not here, how many they've actually found.
Frank knows that.
Yeah.
You're right. Do you know, Angela, how many they
I
added?
believe there's 80 something now, but very few people come in here, there's no paper process, they do everything online, credit card payment. That's why it'll be easier to take it in there,
Yeah.
And the software's making it easier?
absolutely. Very little paper, and it's all credit card processed, it comes in automatically, Cherry will just transfer and
Don't quote me, but for some reason, I had a conversation with Frank about that, and I think I hate to throw out a number, but I think he told me they added like 60 more signups in the last year, more than they had earlier, but it was a pretty good number. It was impressive. And his comments were that the software was saved a lot, and helped get things organized.
Makes it easier for people to comply. They just do it online.
Yeah.
Well, 10 grand was the initial startup cost, and there's a recurring yearly fee, right?
Justice,
When do I get a chance to ask this question?
ask a question.
Okay, construction for Frog City Road, what is the start date? And how long will that be going?
We didn't add that to the agenda, but I think,
What was the question? I didn't hear.
when's construction happen on Frog City Road?
Oh. Soon,
Okay.
because it has a deadline.
And second part to that question, are they gonna fix my major washout on the side of the town road that's in my driveway?
I don't know the answer to that one. I can talk to Larry about it, but I know.
Larry, don't talk to Larry, he's already gave me his answer.
Probably no, right? Because it's out of the,
Yeah, it's in the town right away.
but it's your driveway.
Huh?
But it's also your driveway.
No, it's beside my driveway. It's beside my driveway, but it is the town right away, and
Are we talking about a culvert? Or-
nope, nope.
Just a washout.
Just a bank,
Oh.
that goes down into the river.
Yeah.
It's all washed out.
Yeah.
And every time it rains, that bank is eroding into the brook every time, and eventually, it's gonna be in the town road. I've already talked to Larry about it, he said, no, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, he must have a reason for saying that.
I'm gonna tell you the reason.
Okay,
You don't like me.
no,
God's honest truth right there. So, that was the question. I'm done.
I'm sorry I asked. Oh, gosh.
So that's another bullet point we gotta put on there, separate bullet point.
But swing up Frog City Road, you can look at it.
Do you wanna
I will look at
check
it.
it out, we could talk about it the next meeting?
I got orange cones on it right now, so somebody don't drive up into the river.
I will look at it. I will.
We'll discuss it at the next meeting after.
Okay.
I mean, it was all rip-wrapped, walled up nice before these twin floods we had. But because of so much water, it washed out. Luckily, my Cobra that I paid a lot of money for didn't go anywhere.
Okay. I will look at it with,
All right, and
Back
so,
onto the topic of this.
yeah.
it's STR, yeah.
Elaine, that email you had sent us, so that was in reference to this, correct? This, the balance of the funds, and what we should do with them?
Are you looking at me?
Elaine, you sent out an email to us about maybe allowing the town voters to decide this.
Well, that had to do with the fire truck sale.
Oh, the sale of fire.
Oh, yeah, right.
Sorry.
Have a good day.
Same
See ya.
concept, different issue. So this is firmly for us to decide then.
Yep.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that we're going, we go with this option as opposed to Frank's suggestion. I would suggest that we don't, can we establish another earmark? Like have a fund for this? Another line item in the budget where the money accrues in there, STR, whatever, call it however you want.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? It seems like it's gonna be a substantial amount of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then pull from it as we want to for different things, like a project like this, a project, I don't know, pick your poison, but as opposed to it just flowing right back into the general fund, we don't know what happens to it, we can allow it to accrue, if there's other expenses for STR or whatever, but in the, you know, in the interim, we could allocate $3,000.
Another way, you know, look at it is that money can offset some of our increase to the fire department too. And that was a pretty big chunk, just help us hold. It's another strategy to help level taxes.
Yeah.
And if it goes into the general fund, we know it's going to the fire department because we can continue to allocate an increase to them. I would hope we would continue that going forward.
So you're suggesting putting it like a reserve?
Like we have a bridge fund,
Yeah.
equipment fund, so we have another one,
Short-term rental
STR.
reserve,
And
yeah.
this, so we can see the money coming into it. We have a,
Right.
you know, whatever, 20, 30, 60, over a few years, we have 100 grand there.
Yeah.
About $20,000 a year so far.
That's pretty substantial.
We call it slush fund.
See,
Community investment.
There you go.
Because we invest back into the community.
That's a good title for it too. Community reinvestment.
Yeah, the money we spend when we give out to the local, you know, organizations, they can come out of that fund, so, you know, it's a way to save them.
Yeah, I mean, cut it any way you want. We do these things. It's just, how do you pay for them? Where do you put them, park the money? You know?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve this request
Okay.
for using short-term rental excess funds for safety equipment.
Yeah. I'll second it.
There you go.
All right, on to the approval of the sale of the fire truck.
That's the one you, yeah, okay.
Well, I'll tell you my first thoughts on it. I remember trying to dispose of a town truck before, and it was a hassle. I mean, I think we got $600 mostly because of the tires on it. So
Do we know the value of this?
I mean, I don't think there's a huge market for used fire trucks. I was, harassing Tyler. They should just put a dump body on it and they could ride around in it. But
It's an 89, right? 88, 89?
Put it on eBay,
There is actually a market for used
Facebook Marketplace, or Amazon.
fire trucks.
yeah,
Bridgewater.
Pizza places are looking for them.
One of their old trucks to a gentleman who was buying them. Katie only had like 2 fire trucks. So for like $5,000, this gentleman came and he bought Bridgewater's old fire truck that they were going to, they make a bunch of tools and stuff, but they just don't have any stuff for fire service. So, we were gonna try and connect with that gentleman to see if for $2,000 that they would take it to Haiti so they have more there.
Absolutely.
That was for.
Two-wheel drive, right?
yep. And it's parked out there. And if you look under it, there's usually either like a little puddle of oil or a pile of rust. So, I mean, to me, it's a disposal issue, not a.
Might
Put it
cost us
on
money to get rid of
Marketplace, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's it, Bruce, thank you, Marketplace.
My biggest fear was that somebody was going to want to keep it.
Is it good for parts?
It's a one-ton truck, right? Or
Yeah, from 1987. If you got one, it probably is good.
is it automatic or stick?
Automatic.
Oh, no.
How many miles?
We
they
could
got?
make quite a
30,000
pickup truck with it.
30,000. It's got a big block in it?
Probably. Would you like to buy it?
Is that diesel or gas?
Diesel.
How many hours on that? thing?
I like your idea to put a dump body on it. Run it.
We might have a customer, Dave.
Talk to Jim. I don't want to get involved in that.
Because if you think you're buying something solid, there's going to be some hard feelings.
Yes, what's the warranty, Dave?
Service program. You never know, you could try to put it on Marketplace itself, I mean, someone will buy it.
Bet you somebody would.
So that is what the fire department is proposing, selling it. What they'd like to know is can they sell it and can they keep the money? And I'm guessing that's probably to outfit the new truck some.
Yeah, I think they were planning to use some of that money for the new truck.
How much are you looking to get for it?
Wow, I got another bidder.
That's what it sounded like, isn't it?
That's Richard Luciano.
Anybody bid, anybody bid? Give me 20 bid, come on, let's have an auction right
The reason
now.
why I know someone who has a pizza place that uses fire trucks.
Yeah, it's Richard Ruggiano.
Is he making a bid?
That's what we were hoping.
I'm not making a bid, but I tell him and see what he wants for it.
So Dave or Angela, can you say what you're hoping?
I can say it was, we could agree, we would take 5,000 before somebody was interested in buying it for $5,000. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, that was a discussion that went around. I don't know if people would be willing to take less or wanted more, or I don't really know.
Hey, Carol?
So would those funds be used towards the purchase of the new fire truck that we're getting, or I think we're getting 2 new ones, aren't we? Just one? So would they apply that to the purchase of the new fire truck, or is it just for general?
The fire department's proposing using it for new tools and stuff for the truck that's coming in, the new truck. Because you have to get some new stuff for it to,
Oh, okay,
Get it
so
out.
it's just, but it has to do with the new truck.
yeah, yep. I mean, the ladder on that truck that's
Yeah.
there is probably like 35 years
Yeah.
old too, or whatever, I don't know.
And it's dirty.
Ladders, you want good ladders, right?
We want
Never
clean
been
ladders.
inspected.
We don't want an old dirty ladder.
Is it fair to add to when the original truck was spec'd out, the cost, I believe, was like $490, is it $492? It ended up being almost
Hang on. Yes. I wonder if they blew the siren, clanked the horn.
They did go down for an inspection already.
Being a member
So
of
what's
the,
the issue at hand now?
so being a member of the fire department, I'd like to recuse myself from the vote.
Come on,
All right.
The issue is, do we let the fire department keep the proceeds from the sale of that truck to go toward the expenses for the new truck?
Right. Do we take Elaine's point into consideration that maybe the townspeople should decide? Do we want to entertain that?
I have to say that I had no clue what the truck would be worth. If the people originally voted and paid for the truck, I thought the funds should go back, or not the funds, but the townspeople should decide what to do with the funds. But if we're not gonna get more than $5,000 for it, that's sort of a moot point, you know. That's a little bit of money.
Yeah.
That
To
would
have to
go,
hold on to have the town, it would be embarrassing to ask the town to vote on that. Really.
I think that's a budgetary issue that select board can determine.
I thought it would be $100,000. It's a truck, you know.
Right, and after the meeting, you can give people a tour of the truck. See if
Yeah.
anyone's interested in it.
give it to the fire department, let them buy a new ladder and a hook.
Yeah, I have no problem, as long as it's used for outfitting a new truck, it doesn't, whatever the proceeds may be, just buy something for the truck, gas.
But I think you should advertise it on Marketplace. Few pictures, put it up there with a number, if it doesn't sell, drop it down. What do you got to lose?
You should see the things that are selling for the prices on it. It's crazy.
Believe it or not, but because of the color, a lot, it devalues it because it's yellow.
Well,
Touch-
hype the
touch up
fact
the
that
picture
it's
a little.
yellow.
Maybe you could rent a Dalmatian for the day to take some pictures and
Yeah.
put it on Facebook.
It goes with the Dalmatian.
Rare
Then you'll sell
yellow
it.
fire truck.
1980s.
And it could only be 2,000, and you said 5, because that's what somebody said that they didn't buy it for, so it could be $2,000.
Hell, you'll have a bidding war.
I'll make a motion that we allow the fire department to keep the proceeds from the sale of the truck and have it used toward the fit-up equipment for the new truck.
Yeah, I second it.
There you go. Done deal.
All right, select board to discuss and approve a recognition plaque for the municipal building.
What would that say?
It's, this right there, that Angela proposed.
Need another one here.
Great. Well, you saw that, you have a copy.
I'll make a motion to approve that, I like that.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it works. And we could tinker with it a little bit if we need to, but
Yeah.
their theme is good.
Yeah, little wordsmithing.
What do you say?
Read it.
Yeah. Here's an example, just a start of our talking points. The original crew dedicated to the vision, commitment, and hard work of Donald K. Martin, Jack Saylor, Leon R. Parkhurst, for their unwavering dedication and leadership in making the town of Plymouth municipal building a reality. Their efforts have helped shape a stronger, more vibrant community for generations to come. Together we build the future.
ambulance.
To review and approve the Town of Woodstock ambulance service agreement. And then, isn't there one from Ludlow in here too? Is that?
I do not have.
Okay.
Until this afternoon.
Okay, got it.
Make a couple of comments about that. I
Sure.
don't know what the Woodstock contract says.
All right.
But I did take a quick look at the Ludlow proposal. And Ludlow's proposal, and again, I got it late, so I didn't have a chance to go over it in detail. But their proposal is to take over a significant part of Plymouth. There are a couple of things in there that I think are attractive for the first response team. Namely the classes that they're talking about offering and the working together to collaborate more and make it a more effective first response. Having said that, I don't know how Woodstock would respond to Ludlow taking over much more of the coverage area. So I think you guys should consider that when you're thinking about it. And I don't know if it has to be approved tonight or if there's time to review both proposals and make a more informed decision about it. Because like I said, I didn't have a chance to go through and take a good look at what they're proposing yet.
Who's nearer in proximity?
It depends on where you are in town, and that's one of the things that I haven't had a chance to take a look at. Ludlow is basically talking about, I think, and I have to go through it in more detail, but I think their proposal is to cover basically everything they're covering with this Route 100A closure.
Oh, okay.
And with the Route 100A closure, I think it makes sense for Ludlow to cover the things that we talked about. But when Route 100A opens back up again, I'm not sure if that still makes sense to have them cover some of the areas, like up at the cheese factory.
Yeah.
Wasn't 100A the cutoff? Or, so everything above 100A was Woodstock? And
Everything south of 100A is Ludlow.
Yeah.
So everything to the north and up on 100A is normally Woodstock. With the 100A closure, Ludlow is covering all of Route 100, and they're covering 100A up to where the closure is. And then Woodstock's covering
Do
on
you
the
know how
other
the
side.
dispatch works on that? If you call 911, we had a long conversation a while ago about this, that it was going up to South Royalton, I believe. I don't know, at what point it went to Rutland, but.
Yeah, I think we did coordinate that. Actually, Pete Fellows did the coordination, but I think it was Heartland and there's another organization involved as well. But when you call 911, it goes to one of those, either goes to Heartland or,
And then
do you know the other PSAP? I can't remember. It might be.
Do ambulance services allow a patient to choose the facility they're going to take them to? To some
degree.
extent. Yeah, because if all of your medical records are with Dartmouth Hitchcock, Woodstock is associated with that.
Yep,
But
so
Ludlow,
Woodstock
I
will
don't
take
think
you to
is.
Rutland or Dartmouth. I know that they'll take you to both of those. I
it
think
will?
Ludlow takes you to Springfield or maybe Rutland. I don't think they go to Dartmouth, generally speaking.
Can you tell them?
No, you just better drive yourself.
Well, you can choose between Rutland and Springfield, I think, with Ludlow, but I don't think you can get them to take it.
Springfield's got road closures over there now, like Route 11 is closed for 2 months, kind of like ours on 100A. So I don't know if how that would impact travel from here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
So I feel like there's no way for us to assess this, really, there's no way to know what I can see the increase in costs for Ludlow, but I don't know the potential decrease in cost for Woodstock, right? So that's something to evaluate. Like this map that Ludlow came up with was pretty helpful, for the road closure part of it, but. So
Yeah,
it's like,
that map is actually from Pete Fellows, I think.
Okay.
Woodstock refers to the LCT, so we're not gonna know till the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, like, we could have a order of magnitude, right? It's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna like increase by 50% or something, but I mean, there's,
I guess my concern with it is if we asked Woodstock to only cover a very small region, would they come back and say, we're not interested, or would they come back and say, it's gonna cost you the same that it's costing today? So I don't think we know the answer to that yet.
are you comfortable reaching out to them and asking, or having that conversation?
I'm comfortable calling and asking them. So far, my position with both Ludlow and Woodstock is that the select board is the financial end of things.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
You know, and also, because it's just gonna get tricky next summer, because we'll have the road closure, I believe, Moneybrook.
Now, this is summer,
So
isn't it?
that will impact, then we'll need Woodstock to come, come all the way down 100 to Moneybrook.
That's not being closed.
so they're gonna leave one lane open, I think.
Did they change that?
Yep.
Thank goodness. How about,
They're working on.
oh, they're working on that one? We've got time on that one. Oh, good. I did not know that.
What if the ambulance, this bridge closure with 100A is temporary, it's gonna be over in 45 days or whatever?
Yep.
What is their contract based on the way it is without a bridge closure? I mean,
So it would go
it
back.
looks like this has to do with the bridge closure.
No, so the bridge closure is kind of independent
Yeah.
of this. We talked to
Okay.
Ludlow, and Ludlow said that they were comfortable providing the coverage without any change to the contract or any additional fees during the 42 days or 44 days or whatever it's going to be. But the plan was, at the end of the closure, things go back to the way they were.
Right. But
This
this is a new contract.
is a new contract proposal that they provided.
I can see already that, look, I'm not in favor of having Ludlow take over the whole town. I'm just, if I get on that ambulance, I wanna go to Dartmouth.
I
No
do too.
questions asked.
Yeah.
I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to Springfield for anything, so that's my,
Or Rutland.
yeah. And I say that because I have an obligation to 700 people during the summer. And Woodstock ambulance, and nothing against Ludlow, right? They're great, they're trained, but it's just, for us, I wanna see, if I have a kid that has to go, I want him to go to Dartmouth, if we need to.
So let's keep Woodstock.
Well, yeah, so I mean, this.
No change,
My understanding was this proposal wouldn't eliminate Woodstock, but to your point, it would take Woodstock out of the picture on Route 100. So,
And that's, that's a little bit of my personal feelings creeping in here, right?
Yep.
But it's also, I feel like I have this obligation.
yeah, I mean, from my personal experience, taking myself out of the first response role, when I broke my neck, I wanted to go to Dartmouth because they have a trauma center there, right? And Woodstock responded. I told them I wanted to go to the Dartmouth Trauma Center, and that's where they took me. If it was Ludlow, I probably would have ended up going to Rutland, and then they would have had to transport me after that to go to Dartmouth. So,
I wonder if that item is negotiable with Ludlow, if they would consider going to Dartmouth.
Well, it's funny, I said, and I'm not here for Ludlow, trust me, I saw the price and I was a little.
Yeah.
My only, one of my concerns is that's a good one, and it could be discussed. But my other thing is, I believe Woodstock has 3 ambulances. When one goes on call, I believe a second crew comes in and is in standby. Ludlow does not have that right now. They have a crew on, and then the others are like on call. And-
Yep.
and you can
Yeah,
agree
no,
to
that's
that.
absolutely true.
So I presented it because Chief sent that, Ben Whalen sent that today, but, I think there's pros to, I'd like to do a little bit of a divide, and that's not up to me, a little, because
I'd be interested in that conversation, and I would say this is a very competitive proposal, by the way. They're being really, Ludlow's being really reasonable.
Do we have access to DART? I mean, it seems to me like what happened to you would have been like, get the helicopter.
We do have access to DART.
Yeah.
But, and how would that work? Is that through Woodstock Ambulance or is?
It's through
Or it's
Dartmouth.
not through Dartmouth, but.
No, I mean Ludlow or Woodstock
Oh, okay.
can
Oh,
call
okay.
for
So
DART.
if they assessed it and said we need it, then they would do, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's
Yeah, but
based
with
on
Dart-
the assessment at the moment.
Would DART deliver to Springfield? If
No, DART
Ludlow
would
was
deliver to
involved?
Dartmouth.
Yeah.
DART would go to Dartmouth. So if the helicopter comes and picks you up, you're going to Dartmouth generally.
No matter
speaking.
whether it's Ludlow or Woodstock or Rutland or
Yeah.
whoever ambulance is here.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Their prices were
The
big.
helicopter comes from Dover.
Yeah, I think so.
So Woodstock picks up on Route 100 north of 100A?
Yes.
Okay.
And 100A.
And all
And
100A
100,
and all the side routes off of
Yeah.
100A.
See you, Carol.
There's no price in this though.
It refers to the VLCT, and Chief Green said it would be out in December, what that would cost would be.
What was Angela saying, that
What was it,
Woodstock has more
wasn't
than
it
one
27,000?
ambulance crew at any given moment?
Yes.
It was the same with them, these guys, Ludlow, wasn't it? It was in the 20-something grand range,
16,500.
16, and they're going to 40 something?
But that's,
Whoa.
16.5 is what the current, is what the current coverage is. Then we pay like 3,500 of what happens with dispatch. But if they took over, which is more area.
To go for Woodstock,
Took over for the majority of Woodstock.
that's the additional 23, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't have enough time to review this in detail. I don't really have a recommendation. My gut feeling is that it's probably not something that is beneficial to us, at least the way it's laid out right now.
To let Ludlow increase in other words.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are, to Angela's point, there are probably areas that Ludlow can get to faster. And we might want to have that discussion. I'm not sure that Ludlow can get to everywhere that Woodstock is covering faster at this point. And there are advantages, I think, to having Woodstock. And I guess when I quickly scanned through this, my concern was the amount that this left for Woodstock was so small that I'm not sure Woodstock would even be interested in continuing the service, or if they would, maybe it's cost prohibitive at that point. So I think it would be beneficial to either continue the way it is now or sit down and do a thorough review of the two and maybe talk to both departments and change how things are laid out a little bit.
If it works, don't fix it.
Well, does Ludlow give us a choice
Okay.
though, to stay with the way it is?
They do, at least for their current contract.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen when the contract is up. Is it up in the end of 26?
Correct. And I think there was an email that I gave to Joe that she said, I think he said it would just go back to what it was before or something, so, yeah.
Maybe the fire department needs their own ambulance.
I don't think we wanna transport.
No.
We want to turn that old fire truck into one?
Why not? Runs,
Are we qualified, there's people qualified on the
get
fire
a lot of
department?
people in
They
that
need to the
truck.
hospital, paramedic.
We have one paramedic and a couple of EMTs, but to staff for an ambulance would be way more expensive than what you're seeing in these contracts, I think.
Mount Holly just folded up 2 years ago. Right, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, if, you'd have to get your service approved to do that, you'd have to get the ambulance approved, you'd have to get the staff approved, and then you'd have to pay the staff to be here, right?
To be on call.
24/7, 365. Probably have
I
somebody
don't-
sitting right here, ready to go.
If you're transporting, I don't think you can have them on call and have reasonable response times. I mean,
Gotta set up
I think you'd have
hammocks.
to have them sit out here and be on, be here on shift.
Well, it's not realistic for our town.
We're not there
Right.
yet.
I don't know if this is still true, but when I was on the ski patrol at Okemo and someone got injured, they were transported to either Springfield or Dartmouth, depending on the injury. So they were going to both locations. I don't know if they do it as a matter of procedure or as a matter of request, but that was my experience with them.
The last conversation I had with Chief Whalen was that Chief Whalen and Assistant Chief Grover was that they transported to Rutland or Springfield. They didn't go to Dartmouth because it took their ambulance out of service for too long.
There we are. I'm gonna make a motion then that we approve the two separate contracts unless the fire department emergency service wants to investigate it further.
And I'm not trying to stop. To me, you would only be approving one.
Okay.
Because we have the service agreement with Ludlow right now, so
Okay.
I don't wanna.
So you just do
approve
the Woodstock one.
it. Sorry.
Thank you for clarifying that.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, this came in late this afternoon. I didn't have a chance to review it in detail, and I'm not convinced that letting them take over that much of it would be beneficial to us at this point. There are some other things in there that I think would be beneficial, but I think Chief Whalen's open to having some of those discussions anyway, so.
Okay.
Did you make an official motion?
I did.
Okay, so we got a second. Who wants it? Montgomery?
I'll second it.
Aye.
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a question, does that contract still have the get out of jail free clause in it?
Yeah.
You can cancel it with
Oh, yeah.
a certain amount of notice?
60 days or 30 days.
Something like that.
90, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess if in the future you decided to go down a different path or renegotiate, you could,
Yeah, we're
you
always
could
open
explore
to
those
that.
options.
And I know y'all spent some time looking into this, so thank you. Especially with the conversation with the road closure, which is next.
So with regards to the proposal from Ludlow, are you just gonna respond and say we're not interested at this time? Or
That would be good to do.
is that something you guys, I mean, the email came to Angela and I, so I don't know how the process works moving forward. I have consistently told them that you guys are the financial end of things, so any contracts had to run through you guys, but
Yeah, and I would you, Angela, do you mind sending out a note on our behalf?
Absolutely.
Okay.
At all.
And at some time, we consider the conversation, but I think what we've, all determined is that, I mean, and I'm not speaking for all of us, but that, like, one of the big hangups here is not going to Dartmouth. And we understand that it takes their unit out of service for too long. And that brings us to the 100A closure. And it's just basically a clarification, a letter of clarification that they will service, Ludlow will service further during this closure.
yeah, so I don't know what letter you're referring to exactly, but,
Yep. Yep. So basically, you're making sure we have coverage.
yep, so I coordinated with Pete Fellows. Pete Fellows coordinated with PSAP, which is the state level dispatch, and they are gonna dispatch, as far as I can tell, based on that map. And based on that map, the state level dispatch will call either Ludlow dispatch or Woodstock dispatch to dispatch the actual ambulance and Plymouth Emergency Services based on the map. So I believe all that's in place. I spoke to Chief Whalen this morning just to give him a heads up and make sure that they were prepared to cover the additional area. I spoke to Chief Green from Woodstock last week and just gave him a heads up that as of the road closure, Ludlow was going to pick up the additional coverage area. So everybody knows, I believe. I guess we'll see how that first call goes through the state dispatch.
Will they be using Hill Hollow Road, the ambulance? I know you were working
No.
on
I
seeing
don't
if
think an ambulance can get
emergency
down there.
equipment could be used on that road. Is that not the case?
So the plan would be, I don't know if people have seen the map, but the plan would be that Woodstock covers everything up to basically Rick's house. And then everything on the other side
Is
is
Ludlow.
covered by Ludlow.
Okay,
And all of Route 100 is covered by Ludlow.
okay.
Yeah, there's still that one section of Hale Hollow that, where it caved in. I don't think an ambulance can get by there, it's too thin.
Okay.
Anyway,
We'll arrange a pickup at Rick's house then.
Is Hale Hollow open now?
Sorry?
Is
Yes.
Hale
It is.
Hollow completely open?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we ran a grader down it, put some gravel down too, just to make it a little easier for everybody.
Thank you.
absolutely beautiful.
What a guy.
Well, we knew it's gonna get more traffic, you know, with 100A closed, so we wanted to make sure it was as good as it can be.
So Woodstock ambulance will still cover that part of Hill Hollow on the
Right.
on the
it'll-
Woodstock
yeah.
side, or Bridgewater side.
Where would the turnaround be on Hill Hollow? Merrill Hill?
I'd
suppose?
have to look at that map, I don't recall
Okay,
off the
it's
top
all
of my
right,
head.
yeah.
5 corners.
5 corners would work.
My. Thinks right away, Merrill Hill. That's the only place to turn around.
Yeah,
Probably.
Right.
So our next select board meeting is Monday, August 4th, unless we need one in between.
Sounds
you
good.
said you wanted me to remind you of
Any items you want to add for that?
Can't think of any.
You're gonna revisit, or something you're gonna revisit.
I'm sure something will come up.
We're gonna revisit
Budget.
budget, the community center,
Yep.
What's happening with the community center?
just the parking lot. It's apparently a little beat up, so we're gonna take a peek at it. Rick's gonna, I'm not.
Come back with something.
And then what else? There's one other thing to follow up on.
I gotta look at Justice Road Bank
Oh, right, yep,
over
Justice,
there.
Frog City Road.
Frog City Road washout. Yep, I got it.
Any other business for tonight?
Looks like once.
Warrants and mail. Do we have an executive session? I don't think we need one. It's on there, but I don't
No,
think
I
we,
think we're good.
okay.
Put it on just in case.
Thank you. Good,
I'll grab the warrants.
good policy.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.